We are live. Give it like a minute to build up. Share to your. Oh, you can't share to your page. That's right.
Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does.
All right.
Jesus.
What are we gonna do first? You want to do like people, places, and things?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see here. What's going on, guys?
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh, man. All right.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, guys. We're gonna get this started. We're running a little late. My name's Dan Carpenter. That's Stephanie Robles.
Hi.
Um, Today we're gonna have an open meeting. We're gonna start off with letting go of people, places, and things. In general, recovery, not recovery. You know the deal. What's going on, Carol? If y'all don't mind, can you just share this out? The new algorithms of Facebook is hard to get in. It's just an open meeting. Appreciate that. Steph, you want to start off with people, places, and things?
This is like the extremely hardest thing because I used to be that person that I was so attached to those places. Like, um, when my great grandmother died, we had a perfect spot all the time, and her death, when it happened, I was so grief stricken that I could not go to that area. I could not go to that place because it would just drag me down. To this day, I have issues going there because it just, that pain that you go through as people, you mourn somebody, until I realized that I really wasn't doing her any justice, her memory any justice. Sometimes you have to distance yourself a little bit, and it's okay to mourn and do what you have to do for yourself, because especially places hold weight in your life. You remember a memory of somebody, or something negative happened in that area or that space, it automatically transports you to that very exact moment. And I'm here to tell you that no matter if a person leaves you, the I honestly believe that the memory that I have of her keeps her alive. So that place never now holds a better memory for me. I could take my kids there and I'm not as sad or crying or any of that. And people will try to drag you to through certain things, especially memories. Memories hold a lot of weight. And like I said, when you're fully over something or healed, when you're able to talk about it and not cry, and it helps you explain how you feel, why that place held such a space in your heart. And sometimes people, especially when you act inappropriately or badly or horribly and out of character, a lot of people will say, oh, remember when you did this, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people, it's hard for people to forgive others because you hurt them.
Hmm.
All you can do is apologize for your actions, and do justice like that. Live with integrity with yourself. You can't change the past. You can't change what happened, but you can change how you go about it from then on, right there at that moment. You apologize, you recognize it, and you move on. Don't let that place hold a negative hold on you. You can move on after that. And sometimes it's okay if you can't go back to that place, no matter, maybe it holds painful memories, maybe you acted out of character, maybe you did something really dumb and you can't go there. It's okay not to go there. Know your own strengths and limitations and your boundaries, and be true to who you are as a person. We all change every day. We all commit mistakes. We're all human. And sometimes people can't um, forgive you for that. They forget that they're human too, and they don't recognize that.
Well said.
How do you feel?
I mean, just on the people, we'll break it down because they're all different.
Hmm.
So, my experience, people, I mean, people are going to be people, right? And a lot of times, myself, I was very stubborn, hard headed. The things I was trying to battle, sorry about that. The things I was trying to battle, I could do it my own way, kind of thing. That never worked. I mean, especially for me, when I turned my life around, I stayed away from people for a long time, like the people I used to hang out with or whatever. Not that they were bad people. I mean, some of them were, but a lot of them were bad people. They just didn't have the problems I had. Um, and that was hard, but I didn't, you talked about that pain. I didn't want to feel that pain anymore, and that's what I had to stay away from them. Um, it's hard though. Like for me, my experience, in the rooms recovery, I had to meet new people. So I had to replace my old people with new people. Um, and that's just really how simple it was. It's funny though because now I can hang out with some of the. I mean, I don't hang out with them much, but I can still talk with them and things like that. In the beginning, it was nothing. I was too afraid what would happen. Not that anybody would get me in trouble or anything like that. I didn't know how I would react to situations. Somebody put in the comments earlier, you take yourself with yourself, and that's very true. However, when you work at something, some may call it an awakening, whatever you have, what have you. I'm spiritually fit today. Just today, I'm spiritually fit. Tomorrow, I might not be. Um, I have steps and I have a program. I have a book that tells me that. That's not every day, though. I used to think when I'm spiritually fit, I'm spiritually fit. I can go anywhere I want, anytime I want, and all that. Um, I can be around whoever I want. Some days that's true, some days that's not, for my case. But people are tough. There's a lot of people out there that I don't associate with only because, one, I don't have to anymore. And that was a big deal for me. Like, I don't have to be involved with people I don't want to be involved with anymore. I had that choice today. I guess I always had that choice, but the way I was living, it didn't seem like I had a choice. Um, there's difficult people in my life today. Some that I have to be around, some that, I see in passing. What do I do? Stay in a bubble? You're going to deal with people, and it just is what it is. I try not to get too involved with things like, you know, bad situations, stuff like that, very toxic things. I just don't got time for that. I work too hard to let other people bring me down. I can't shut that off. I don't know what's going on with that. I can't let other people bring me down. All right, I gotta shut this off. And give me a second. I apologize. I'll hit the wrong button here.
Technical difficulties, people. Technical difficulties.
Just mad stuff hooked up, and oh my god.
It's the day.
Yeah, right. I don't even see it anymore. But people are always going to be people, and I have to remember that. And I'm just going to have to do what I got to do. Now, for the places thing, right? I let go of a ton of places, still to this day. For me, because I don't belong there. But a lot of the basics that people go to treatment and they all hear it, they just for whatever reason think that doesn't apply to them. They don't think it applies to them. They can go to the bar and shoot pool. Yes, that may work for some people. For me, people like me, that shit don't work. I was going to the bar. I might have been shooting a game or two of pool. I wasn't opening the bar and closing the bar. I wasn't playing pool 24/7. all these little things, I just don't go places like that. Some places I didn't go early on and I go now. That's because I got a little bit better and I know what my motives are. Like if I'm not in the right state of mind, I don't go, things like that. But that shit can take people out. And if you're not in recovery, there's still places that people that aren't in recovery go that, when they leave, they think, man, should I really went here tonight? I don't have to, like, before I used to think I had to be somewhere, I was going to miss everything and stuff like that. Those places aren't going nowhere, man. And I had to give up a lot. I really did. And that was what was necessary for me. Some people out there, maybe they can do it another way. But, I mean, that old saying, you go to the barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to get your hair cut. And it's true, though, for real. Like, I mean, if I ain't involved in the grimy activities I used to be in, why am I going to those places where I did that dirt? It just doesn't make too much sense. Usually, people set themselves up. Usually, they'll get away with it a few times. They'll go and have that cheesesteak at that bar that they always hung out with. They see their buddies, they're drinking water, or, they're shooting darts, or whatever the case may be. And to me, that's my disease saying, hey, man, you can go wherever you want now. Because the last time you went, you didn't get drunk. You didn't even get arrested, bro. You're good. You had your cheesesteak and went home. Eventually, it comes down to it, man. That water becomes a beer or a bag or whatever. Now you're not even eating cheesesteaks. You ain't even picking up the pool stick. And you wonder how you got here. I see it all the time. And I change my places. My attitude and my behaviors had to be fixed, and they always got to be changing. But the places I went to, the people were totally different. So I eventually, like, by doing a little bit of work and get, like, I don't know, it just rubs off on you. You go to certain places, you do what they do, you get what they get. And they were living way better than I was living. So I started to believe in those kind of places. Like events and stuff like that, partying were going on and stuff like that. Like early on, I'm talking like the first year or two, I didn't go to those places. I didn't go to football games. I'm not telling nobody they can or can't. I just didn't know how I would react. So I just kept it real simple. Like how am I going to go on vacation, right? I was so, like, how am I going to go on vacation without drinking? Because everybody drinks from the time they wake up until the time they pass out. Apparently, that's not how everybody goes on vacation. That was, but I remember, the first vacation I went away for a day or two or here and there, I was feeling some kind of way. But I had these tools that they talk about, and I did what I had to do. But places is still a big thing. Like, I know in the recovery world, it talks about in some of the literature, and, when we do what we do, we can go to certain places, and I still don't press that on people, man, like, because you never know what can happen. I'm not saying to be in fear or anything like that, but a lot of times my head will say, hey, man, that's a great idea. And they told me, man, like, let some people know about your ideas, because sometimes we don't see the whole picture. I talk about this all the time, but that's just how life is. A lot of times people are like, man, are you crazy? Did you just hear what you said? And there's other times where they're like, yeah, man, go ahead. So, but my whole kind of place has changed nowadays, man. Like, I'll do what I got to do, man. I'm in treatment centers. I'm in, personal meetings. I'm in all kinds of different stuff. I don't really roll with people that drink or use. The ones that do drink, they don't drink like me, and I don't, like, hang out there all night, So, places is huge. It really is. And majority of the people that I know that pick up a drink or a drug again after having some time or whatever may have you, it's a whole bunch of stuff, but it's like, if you're hanging out with people that are doing, hardcore recovery and you're listening and doing what they do, man, you don't just end up in a bar. You don't end up at the crack house. Something's going on. So, just replace those places with new places. A lot of people pick up church and 12-step fellowships and, all kind of stuff. But, like, those places, you're always going to get what you get out of it. Like, for me, this is just my experience. Like, when I went to the bar, I didn't really go to socialize. I didn't really go to eat. I mean, I would eat here and there, but I had one mission, and that was to get the most messed up as I could. Nothing's changed since I got sober. Like, yes, like if my brain would say, "Hey, man, go to that bar. They got good food," I may go, but I ain't gonna go during rush hour, 8, 9, 10 o'clock on the weekend. I ain't gonna go somewhere to set myself up, man. Or if I want, man, get that shit to go, or go somewhere else. Um, people will be people, and those places still offer what they offer. So if you want to test the waters, man, you can. Look, I tested them, and I didn't get drunk or high, but I felt immediately horrible. I didn't belong. I felt guilty, and I didn't even do nothing. So that uncomfort from some of these places, if you feel uncomfortable, man, you're allowed to roll out of there. What do you got on the places?
Places, I mean, just like you said, my grandmother always said, the devil will tempt a person 7 times a day. And if you
Ooh.
ain't got no business being there, don't be there, because you human. You are born human. We sin every day. So if you have a disease or you have an addiction or you have a problem, avoid that problem until you can properly control yourself, knowing who you are and what you stand for. You're not doing it for nobody else, you're doing it for yourself. At the end of the day, you decided to get better, you decided to do better. Just like you said, you ain't got no business hanging out in those places. Go find a different spot to hang out, create better memories for yourself, do better things in your life, because at the end of the day, success leaves breadcrumbs. They do. Find a new group of people to hang with. Maybe that person may reach out to you like, I need your help in this. And by all means, if you feel like you can deal with that and go down there and help somebody, and you're strong enough to deal with that demon and wrestle, because that's what it is. When you have a negative,
Uh-oh. We lost her. No. I think Steph went bye-bye. Yeah, we lost her. Just like that, she's gone. Peace, she said. Let me see if I can add her. Facebook sucks. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. It's the worst. Uh, Facebook is the worst. I lost her. Back on here. I'll just do a part two with her. Oh, there she goes. Hey,
I
what's
was,
up?
I could hear you.
Yeah, let's go. Yo,
I,
Facebook's crazy, man. They're crazy. Go ahead.
I could still hear you
I
guys. I
was,
was
I was keeping
typing, I love
going.
you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, the devil tempts people 7 times a day. And if you ain't got no business being in that spot, don't tempt yourself. If you can help people, by all means, help them and do what you can. Because that's your own demons. We all have demons inside of us. And that's what it is. It's a negative thing to deal with. If you can't deal with that demon, then avoid that place, avoid those people, and make new memories and find new places to be at and do better things, because just like you said, Dan, you ain't got no business being in there. I know you ain't got no business. Like grandmama always used to say, if you lay down with dogs, you're gonna catch fleas. And you
Ooh,
don't want no fleas. You got a protection, and you're protecting yourself. And you don't want those problems, because basically think of it, it's like a leech on your soul, and it's just sucking the very life out of you. You were
absolutely.
not meant. You were not meant to live this life and be sad, depressed, and all of that. If you want to do new things, you're up to a bigger game, then you got to leave that weight behind you. That weight will crush you. Instead, use that weight as a stepping stone to propel you to bigger and better things.
Awesome. And back to the places. So, my experience and stuff, people would say, "Hey, man, like I was a homebody. I drank and I used at home. What do I do?" I mean, I did that too. A lot of people did. I mean, obviously, you can't just run away from home or whatever. You got a mortgage. I get all that, but I know a lot of people, and I used wherever I went. It didn't matter if I was going to the grocery store. Well, I wasn't getting no groceries, but if I was going shopping, wherever I was going to get gas, it didn't matter. I was drinking and using, so I can't just eliminate everything from life. But like the home thing, a lot of people I know, including myself. First of all, I couldn't sit still. Believe that? I could not sit still. Can you believe that? But
No, you?
I was afraid to be, where I use, obviously. Um, so I would keep busy. If it was work or meetings or whatever, I'd be out of the house. And I still know people to this day, not that they're afraid they're going to use, but they are so used to going and, going here, going there, reaching out to help other people. They're involved in the community or, any kind of work, and they're really not home. They go home to sleep. Um, that comes with time. It really does. So, like, I ain't telling you to sell your house on the market, but just do something different. Like, if every day you came home, you say you're an after work drinker. Every day you came home, you went in the fridge, you poured yourself a drink. Don't do that, obviously. Pour yourself some water. Do an exercise. Do something different. That place is still going to be there. Just because you used to use there, that's a little bit different than the bar scene, or the hit house. There, obviously. Um, and I know people, man, that they were like, man, like every day on my ride home, I would stop at a bar, and I was one of them too. And like I was sober for like 90 days, or no, it couldn't have been 90 days because I lost my license. It was like 6 months, and I'm like, man, like every day I drive by this bar I used to hang out at, and sometimes I keep driving, but I catch myself looking, and they're like, hey, man, there's other ways around. Like, why are you driving by that bar? And dude, there's 3 other ways to get to my house from that bar, but that was just the way I was used to going. And I would put myself like in these situations. Like, dude, what if you did see somebody at the bar? Right, the worst thing that could have happened to me seeing somebody. What would have happened if they said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Stop the car, all that kind of crazy stuff. So try it and avoid certain situations early on. Eventually do what you got to do. You can't avoid everything for life, but if you got to drive a different direction, go a different direction. And the things, right? So I always, people, places, and things, is a whole bunch of list of stuff, but I can't forget I was a part of that problem. And I'm still here. I'm still me. Especially early on, loose cannon, crazy. And luckily I got a little bit better, but I had to figure out what to do. All different kind of things bothered me. I had to stay away from all different kind of things. I had to pick up new things to put in my life. And that's what I learned from a 12-step fellowship. That may not work for everybody, and I get that. But it works. There ain't no easy way out. And you just have to replace some things. Always being negative, put some positive stuff in your life. Exercise, do something. But it will always, I believe, take people out in the recovery world, people, places, and things, along with other stuff. But it is the most basic thing you can apply to your life. I mean, that's not going to keep you sober and have a great life forever. There's a whole lot of other stuff you got to do, but those fundamentals are so important. Because look, for me, how can I stay away from drinking and using, grow as a person, if I don't hang out with people that are doing the same thing? If I go to the bar and eat some dinner and watch some shows and listen to some music, do you think those people are going to care about how my day went today? That I got to make amends to somebody today because I pissed them off? Do you think they give a shit? No. Somebody in recovery, a close network, they're going to care. They're going to understand. They know where you've been from. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's just, I see people, playing with fire, man, and I know people are people and people are strong and all this stuff, but, when I see people, and I don't say much to them because look, man, that's their life. Unless I'm really involved with them and stuff. But when I see people checking into Facebook to certain places and, oh, we're just going to sing karaoke. Look, I get it, but like, man, you were just drunk like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, and that's not to be mean, but why are you out at a bar singing karaoke? I know you can sing your ass off. I get it. But what are you doing? And they have sober places. They have karaoke where there ain't no alcohol. What? They're actually people singing, not just all drunk and stupid. But it's hard, man. It's really painful to watch. Like, I've been there, I've done it, and like I said, the worst thing that happens, is people get away with it that one or two times, and then eventually, the demon comes in, and that devil just whoops that ass. If it's not, spiritually, physically, or emotionally, it's one of the three or all of the three. And then what? Now you're at the square one again. What kind of things go on in Miss Robles' life? What kind of things? You got kids. You got all these things going on. What are you doing about it?
I sit here and I manage it the best that I can. I'm human. I have 4 kids. I'm going to school. I'm helping people with PTSD. I just helped someone that almost took their life. And this person was severely struggling because she was abused and she needed help. And I was able to give her the help that she needed because she was a functioning addict. She was a functioning addict. I didn't know that.
Well, that's
But
another. Go ahead, but that's another topic. We're gonna go into that.
that's another
You can go in
topic,
on
but
that.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I forgot to tell you about that, Dan. So I had an interesting week. So tackling on and helping that parent figure her life out. Like, she had to emotionally vomit a lot of stuff. And let me tell you something. If you don't think that that doesn't affect me as a mom, because I'm a mom, and seeing another person suffer and crying and asking for help. And I'm going to tell you exactly what she told me. She said the reason I didn't reach out for help was because I was too prideful.
Oh
I was
yeah.
prideful and I didn't want my business being out there. And I told her it takes more courage, more guts to stick your hand up in that air and tell me and ask for help than it does to sit back. It's always the person that just sits there and just takes it. The day you stand up and you ask for help is the day that you get it. And you're taking back your life. You're starting to take back your life. And it made me cry because I couldn't believe I cried in that car as soon after I got her help. I cried in that car because it took a toll on me. I didn't realize the impact that situation was going to be in. I've never been in that situation. But that was heavy, man. For somebody to sit there and say thank you, you saved my life. That don't happen in Stephanie Robles' life every day.
Yeah. And
It
that, that's
doesn't.
that's what happens. Like, when you make yourself available, and that's awesome. Hopefully she's on the right path, and has to do what she has to do. But the hard part is now, right? Like, since you got her there, it's like there's
Yeah,
nothing else we can do. Hands off, and that's hard because somebody
that's
reaches
it.
out and they're struck. Like, you do what you can, and you did, and now it's just like, damn. I wonder if she's gonna be all right. I wonder how she's doing today. But that's God's work, man. And that's awesome. Like, that's why we do what we do. Um, so you mentioned functioning addict, and I chuckled because uh, I've heard, like, I'm just gonna stick to my experience because that's all I know. Um, I used to think I was so functioning, and I never, like, I laugh every time I hear that word, functioning. Like, for me, functioning drug addict, and then I look at the stuff like I did in my life, and like, define functioning. I mean, did I know what was going on? All that majority of the time, but my behaviors and everything I was doing, like, you would be like, man, does this guy have a brain? So, like, are there people out there? Look, all right. Bob is a functioning alcoholic because he goes to work every day. He pays his bills. He has a retirement fund. He has a family, and he didn't lose everything. Is that functioning? And at the end of the day, I just think, like, instead of arguing, does it really matter? Like, I mean, obviously, when I drink and use, like, if I have that much of a problem, am I really functioning? Like it talks about in the literature, like, we don't have to lose everything. I don't have to lose everything to be qualified to be an alcoholic and an addict. It just gets tossed around, and I'm like, wow. So you're telling me you were functioning when you spent your rent money on a big bag of dope, but you were functioning then, right? And then the kickbacks come, but moving on to that, because I don't even want to get into that, because that would be like an
Let's
hour
not go
discussion.
there. Let's not go there.
So you mentioned about living in the moment, right? And that is
Yes.
one of the hardest things to do. I don't care who you are in the world. Like, it's hard, man. Everybody has a full plate. Uh, People wonder, and their minds go everywhere. Money always comes up, and it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Vacation, gifts, birthdays, uh, whatever, bills, everything piles up. It's like, all right, man, stay in the moment. It's not saying you can't have goals and make plans ahead and stuff, but I noticed with myself, and it took a long time. Like, I was running around like a nut for years sober, years. Doing the best I could, but I just wasn't there yet. Until I could break things down within the 24-hour period, um, sometimes half-hour period, 10 minutes, whatever it has to be, I can enjoy the day more often. Um, and that's huge. Like, I really had to retrain my brain with the help of a ton of people. That it's just like we're dealing with it today. That's not saying, like, stuff down the road. It's not like you don't know about it, but like, focus on what you have tasked for today. And early on, man, I was a huge list maker because I had so much stuff going on in my brain. I mean, I still do, but it was really, really fast then, right? So, like, my brain told me I had to take care of everything right now. Today, I can push some things back, and not build things up, but like, huge list maker, man. And these lists were freaking wrong, like, real long. And I just had to do what I could for that day. And they told me, like, I didn't screw my life up overnight. So I'm not going to rebuild it overnight. And that was big for me. It took a lot of pressure off me. But staying in the moment, mate, you miss so much stuff. Like, I miss so much shit when I'm thinking about what I'm doing next week. And it's so easy to get out of that moment. Um, and on the flip side, I think it was Tuesday. Tuesday, I had a shitty day, right? And I put something on Facebook I probably shouldn't have, but what are you going to do? I mean, I'm human, everybody thinks, like, oh, you get sober and you get a little bit of time and, you do what you do, like, you don't have those days. And I did, and I shut down for like 4 hours. But I allowed myself to do that, you know, until I had to reach out and do what I had to do. But, like, when you're having a rough day or whatever it is, or you're struggling with whatever, it is so easy for me to stay in that moment then. When shitty stuff's going on, like, I will sit, put my feet up, right in that poop, then I can stay in the moment because I can't see past it. But when all this good stuff's happening and life's going, it's kind of hard to stay there. But it is what it is, man. Like, I don't want to miss anything, because life's too precious.
I know, and I think I remember that because I think that was the day that I had wrote a post and I was like, something about that you learn things new from every place. And then I had put your picture up on Facebook, and then I looked back, I was like, oh, did I mess Dan up today or
Yeah.
something? Or maybe it made your day a little bit better. But the Lord works in mysterious ways because it just happened that I posted that and you were there and you commented on that. And I was like, well, maybe that changed his day around.
It was a few hours after that. You're
I, I,
good.
eh, the Lord works in mysterious ways. See what I'm saying, Dan? I didn't know you were having a bad day. I hadn't even saw that you had wrote it, whatever you wrote on Facebook, until after I posted it. But I saw you commented, so I was a little worried, but then I was like, okay, he's good. When moments like that happen, I, as a parent, my husband was gone. And I always go back to that moment because everything was, I was by myself. I had 4 kids. I'm outnumbered, and all I had was a vacuum cleaner. Trust me, that vacuum cleaner stayed there for 12, for like a whole year, because that was, the kids are scared of the vacuum cleaner.
So was my
So I
dog.
was like, yeah. So I would just be like, oh, you better stop. I'm going to turn on the vacuum cleaner. And then they would go running. Mommy, no. You do what you got to do when you're outnumbered, man. But I was so focused on getting the housework done, going to appointments, doing all of that, that I forgot to take into consideration how they're feeling, how to have fun again. I was so busy with the, I got to do this, I got to get the house clean, I got to cook dinner, I got to do this, that I stopped having fun with my kids. And they were just sad. And then I felt as a parent like I didn't know my kids anymore. And that is, I don't care who you are, that is the worst feeling in the world, because I felt like I let those 4 kids down. And my job as a mom is to uplift them and to always make sure that no matter how hard or bad their day is, that they remember that they're the light of my life, at least.
Hmm.
And when I started doing that, something beautiful happened, because I realized that there was more people dealing with that situation. And then I started having fun. Like, I play Call of Duty with my kids. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect when you have kids. FYI, people, your house is never going to be spotless. Not until when they get older. FYI, even if you have gummy wrappers, please don't do that. Your kids will get addicted. Wrappers everywhere. It happens. It's not perfect. Just like life is not perfect, your house is not going to be perfect. I always tell them, you know what? Clean up your room. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make it look good. And it helps them realize that I don't expect them to be perfect, because nobody's perfect. Who's perfect? I'm not perfect. Dan's not perfect. The only perfect person in this world is God himself. When I started living in the moment, I started realizing how the sun felt on my face when I was going for a morning walk. I started realizing the warmth, how the sun looked, the colors in the sky, being able to just breathe, because I wasn't stressed out or thinking of the what ifs. The what ifs are what are going to drive you nuts at the end of the day. And you'll never live a happy life if you're always thinking what if. I wish I was that parent that could go take their kids to bowling alley and bowl at 1 o'clock. Why not? Why can't you? Why? For what? If you don't have funds, let me tell you something. There's nothing that you can't do with a couple of water bottles and a basketball and play it in your living room. Like, be creative in that moment. It doesn't take money to live in the moment. You could go outside in the backyard and do it old school. Like my mom used to, we didn't have a lot of money. We got the sprinkler system going and we would run through there, play Red Rover, doing things with your kids, or making something, create something out of nothing. That's what life's all about. Isn't that what the American dream is all about? Creating something out of nothing. Living in that moment is just what that is. Being at peace with yourself and realizing that it's okay. It's okay to just be who you are. That's when, and when the stressful time comes, they say there's the chaos theory, that when you decide to make a change in your life, that's when life is going to test you to see if you can really stick to your word. It's okay. We all go through it. Because at the end of the day, life is going to knock you on your bottom. But what it doesn't matter what you do when you're on that floor. What matters is what you do after you get knocked down. Are you going to sit there? If I can still look up, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to say, let's go.
Makes sense. It does. Everything you said is dead on. I just got one more thing. So my boy Champ, he was in the comments earlier. He said it's like common sense stuff, people, places, and things, and it is. But sometimes we don't have that common sense, or we forgot about it, or we don't think that applies to us because we got this. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know, what does it matter? And it is common sense when you think about it, but sometimes it's not so common to many. But you know, that's just pretty much it, man. Like it was good as always catching up with you, Steph.
Always.
Next Thursday. Uh,
Yay.
real quick, go to on the replay and everything. Go to my buddies, Mel and Michelle. They have a coffee business, Uncommon Grounds. Go over to their Facebook page, like it. They got some banging ass brew. They're just doing work. So go over to Uncommon Grounds Facebook page, check them out. 7380 Stephanie Robles. You already know what it is. I appreciate you. You're doing good work. Keep doing what you're doing. The results just keep coming, man. The gifts keep coming in life when you do the right thing.
Blessings, man.
That's all I got. See you, Steph. See you guys.
Bye.